Howdy. I'm Grey Pilgrim. I went out and shot this yesterday? I think yesterday, for the first time. Put 3 rounds through it. Shoots like a dream. I need to replace these silly grips with something with some stippling or serrations on it, because, I mean, that's what an old 45, I want, the little hatch mark ones that they used to have on a 45. This is supposed to look like a Colt Commander, and it sort of does. I also need a couple of more magazines. And this holster sort of works. See, what I prefer is a pocket carry. And I want something that's soft around the pistol that covers up the trigger, but does not impede a draw. And this one's a little bit stiff. What I really want is one of those cloth Uncle Mike's holsters that you can get. They just seem to be, they work well. They're not great like high-end holsters like the ones I always see advertised. But for my use, they're great. Anyway, today I was going to talk about, the other day, Garrett Woods over at 11 Bangbang did a video in which he spoke of how to make a successful YouTube channel. Well, I don't know about that, because I break every rule he set up. Not to contradict Garrett. I think he's one of the best men I've seen on YouTube. As a matter of fact, I really admire him and all of his brothers. They have a rare quality called integrity, and that's rare to find today, I think. Anyway, I never script these because, heck, I'm a dumb hillbilly. What do I know? I don't got that there book learning and stuff. Well, actually, I do have some of it, but that's another story. But I am I'm not as well schooled in the arts of diction and enunciation and all that as Garrett seems to think. Let me explain something about my past. When I was a kid, well, first of all, I'll go back even earlier than that. When my dad was a kid, he grew up in Central Texas, and he spoke like a little hillbilly down there in Texas. And when he got drafted, he decided to opt for the Navy. And he went into the Navy, and he's out there talking like Gomer Pyle in his group. I don't know what they call it, a platoon or whatever they call it in the Navy. And he was razzed mercilessly by everybody else. I mean, there's a guy over there with a strong Newark accent and a down there a Louisiana drawl and a fellow with a Connecticut burr. But oh no, they went after that Texas boy. Well, anyway, so Dad got tired of that, and he got his first paycheck, and he went downtown. He was in San Diego. He went downtown, and he found a lady who would teach diction and elocution. And he sat down and took lessons from her and paid close attention. And he learned how to enunciate, how to speak the proper vowels, and how to speak well without sounding like a hick. But he was a hick. But anyway, later on, he married my mom, which is funny because they met at Camp Lejeune. She was in the Marines and he was in the Navy. I could not get away with crap when I was a kid. Dad would come in to shut us off, to go to bed, and his way of saying it was he'd turn off the light and say, "Smoking lamps out." That was it. So anyway, if I came in and I started spoken like this because I was around all my cousins and they talked just like this, he would get livid. He would sit us down on a stool in the middle of the living room and have us recite tongue twisters. And I had to recite them, and not just recite them, not just rah, 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 but recite them properly, clearly, enunciating each character, each vowel. I remember how many times did I sit there and say, "How now, brown cow?" Or here's my favorite. Theophilus Thistler, the successful thistle sifter, sifted a sea full of thistles through the thick of his thumb. Or 3 buckets of blue bug's blood. say those, all of those, 5 or 6 times fairly fast and enunciating each vowel correctly, and you'll know how to speak. And that's what I did. Well, later on, I guess my vocal skills paid off because I worked for a while as a DJ. Now, it was an easy listening channel, and really all I did was click the tape on, take down the meter readings, and rip off the AP, no, it was UPI wire off of the teletype. Back then it was a real teletype. And yeah, you got to go feed the paper into it, which stood me in good stead because later on when I had to load fanfold paper into an IBM printer as a computer operator, I already knew how. And they looked, "Where'd you learn that?" And I said, picked it up. And anyway, but I remember I was sitting there and I'd have to read the hourly news. That was how you did it. You read off the consolidated news for the hour off of the UPI wire. And this in from Moscow, or our reporter in Dallas has come with this particular this story. Martha Ziegler has just had a cow give birth to a 3-headed calf, or whatever, and so you'd read off the news bulletins, and then say, "And now back to our scheduled program, KSNM, easy listening for the desert Southwest, Santa Fe, New Mexico." And that's all I did. And I did it enough that I got good at it, I guess. And later on in one job, how all those menus that say press 1 for this, press 2 for that, they had me record them, And I always wanted to say, press 1 to run for your life, or something like that. Just once I wanted to do something like that. Anyway, that's my, it's not exactly a rant video, that's my biography of how I learned how to do proper speech. And I can do just about any Southern accent. I can't do Connecticut, I can't do English, I can't do a Russian, I can't do any of those, but I can do Southern because I know the drawl of Central Texas, the more fast speech of a hillbilly of Tennessee, and I lived in Tennessee for a while. I learned it well there, and I knew Arkansas. Oh God, Arkansas is thick, and down to Louisiana, a little bit of Bayou, but you learn how to speak a little French because you're talking to Cajuns. Anyway, but that's the secret of elocution. And that's why I can speak well. And I just go with whatever comes to mind. I don't have to pause often and say or any of those, because I'm thinking through what I want to say. And I say it. Darn it. Anyway, by the way, I'm sucking on a Arkansas meerschaum, they're called, or Missouri meerschaum. It's a corncob pipe. Meerschaum, in case you didn't know, is a fine white stone that's mined in the Middle East, I think. India, or Iraq, in that area. Turkey, I think Turkey. Turkey's where they get it. And they're running out of it. But meerschaum was the standard pipe stone. They would carve a pipe out of it. You might see them with like a sheik's head carved into it. My dad had one of those. Unfortunately, my sister disposed of them. She didn't know that what are called estate pipes, which are pipes owned by older gentlemen who passed away and they're in the estate, are worth a lot of money, and some of them are rare antiques. So I've got one for my cousin that's a Delft pipe. It's made of porcelain cast in the Delft area of the Netherlands, or is it Belgium? I think Belgium and Netherlands. They're two different Netherlands. One was Spanish and one was French Netherlands, and I don't know which is which. No, War of the Spanish Succession. I mean, that's where it took place. Anyway, I ain't got much else to say today, other than I enjoy this YouTube stuff. I have fun. I I like to show off my guns and talk about what I know about them. And maybe what I know is erroneous BS. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's good history. Maybe it's something that y'all might want to take notes about. But don't quote me because I might be wrong. I'm not a scholar. I I did study history in college, but that was just because I wanted to. That's the funny thing. I never took out a student loan, not once. What I did is I lived in a pickup truck and worked in what I like to call shit jobs, like washing dishes or digging ditches. Saved my money because I'm not spending it on rent because I'm living in my pickup. And then I took that money and I quit the shit job and I went over to the school and applied for classes. Paid for a semester, took classes, then took a semester off and worked another shit job. It took about half again as long to do it as a regular, just sit down and borrow $50,000, $60,000 from somebody kind of schooling. But heck, you end up at the end flat broke, just like before, only with one, the skills you developed in the shit jobs, and two, a degree that you didn't have to pay for. Well, really, I mean, you don't have to pay it back. Let's put it that way. And besides which, it's not in advanced basket weaving or women's studies or any of that crap. What I studied was history. Yes, it's liberal arts and it is crap. It's not engineering. It's not something like that. But in the meantime, I learned a bit about metalworking. I know mechanics. I know how to bake. I worked 2 years as a sous chef. I worked there, then I quit, went back to college, then I came back, and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll hire you back." And that time I had to work as a dishwasher and work my way back up because that was the opening they had. I took it. Dishwashing in the wintertime ruins your hands, by the way. Anyway, it's just my life. I know it's boring, but it's mine. It's what I've got. Anyway, I do know a little bit about military surplus, and I love them. And I like black powder, like Garrett. And I've got some flintlocks. I should do some more videos on flintlocks. Do you think so? If you think so, leave it in the comments. Anyway, that's about all I got to say. Happy trails.